I'm Dave Gray, and this week I learned the fourth time is not a charm. The fourth time is when they bring in replacements for the adorable original leads who are just, kind of shitty and can't keep their American accents straight.
Hi, I'm Craig. Film enjoy living in, and whatever happens tonight, come vote time, I know we'll all be voting for Little Bird. Just not necessarily the same one.
I mean, you're right.
I'm Tyler Hosley, and if Little Birds doesn't win this week, I might cry. I'm just saying, I'm gonna cry. There's gonna be tears, and yeah, it's gonna be bad.
I'm Kevin Matthews, Scottish film fan living in England, and this week I was reminded of the fact that it's been about 4 or 5 years since I was divorced. That was finalised. This would seem to be a sad thing, and can be, but it's a process. It's okay, and it's even better when you then know at no point did you have to say to anyone, well, I was at a Coldplay concert, and things went downhill from there. And this is Raiders of the Podcast.
Yay! Coldplay hasn't released a single in decades, and they made 2 this week.
Yeah.
Like, everyone assumes they were having an affair, not that they were just ashamed to be caught at a Coldplay concert.
Well, I mean, if you're at a Coldplay concert, everybody is, there at the... I feel like it's like at a nude beach. You're not ashamed when you're there and everyone's naked. You're ashamed on the drive over. You're ashamed on the drive home. But while you're there, you just kind of let it hang out.
Some people did say if they hadn't really overreacted, nothing would have happened. Like, it wouldn't have gone viral or anything.
If they just
been
having
to live with the knowledge that they've enjoyed a Coldplay concert.
They were so awkward. I've seen the video. Like, even the Coldplay dude calls them out. They're either really shy or having an affair. It's like, yeah, dude. Even Coldplay noticed you were being sus. That is that's too sus.
Whatever I end up thinking of the movie choices this week, and whatever amusement Craig gets from us this week, I saw Friendship. Have you seen it yet, Craig?
No, not yet.
Yay! Then that is the one bit of satisfaction I will take for spending time in the company of Mr. Quack Quack. It is...
Hey, don't look. You can say that you didn't like the Blue Apes, like hanging around with the Crocs, what are they called, the Swampies, or that kid. That's fine. That's fine. But I don't want to hear any Mr. Quack Quack slander. He didn't even want to be there, but he did his job.
Or is it all a cunning bluff, my friend?
No.
Anyway, Friendship is you have to see Friendship. It is the film that we wanted it to be. It's brilliant. It hasn't been missold anyway. It kind of is Tim Robinson the movie, which is weird because it is. I think the guy's name is Andrew DeYoung, who wrote and directed it. And it's obviously tailor-made for Robinson's style. Paul Rudd's really good in it. Kate Mara plays Robinson's wife, and there's extra complexities there with the relationship. And it gets to a certain point in the movie. Like, I was watching it, and then you realise when he's being called out on certain things that you're like, yeah, this is a character who hasn't started off as the perfect package that you would maybe get in a lighter version of this kind of movie anyway. It was just really good, and I think it's got just the right balance of the awkward cringe and the real constant laughs. I was laughing a lot. So I hope you get to it soon, Craig, and I think
you should leave. so much.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore that program. But like each episode is like 15 minutes, so you only ever get like little pockets of like of him panicking and going bug-eyed and screaming at people. So I have wondered, like, is this gonna work over like 90 minutes?
I
But,
think it works, and again, I would never, particularly for you being so keen to watch it, I would never give anything spoiler away. I just think it works because they're actually, it doesn't. Nothing that we've seen about it has missold it, but there is also a lot more you can peel away from many of the scenes and how it plays out. It's a friendship between two men, but it's actually exploring, other relationships in the film and stuff in everyday life and society and etc. etc. It's
nice.
So I think it does that because it is, in a way, it's kind of focused on them, but also peripherally covers quite a lot. If you're thinking about the ripple effect and the other things that have gone into their lives, as it were. So that was great. I finally watched Frankie Frico, and I had a lot of fun with that. I've been waiting for that to drop this side of the pond for a long time, and it is, it like it's not a great or perfect film, and the other films done by that sort of group or some of that group are generally better. But Frankie Frico is just pretty nicely in line with the old little puppety comedy horrors of the 80s and 90s. A lot of the score did sound like it was certainly riffing on the Gremlins score. Not the actual main like Gremlins rag theme, but quite a few other musical motifs from that score were in there. So that was good fun. Vicky wanted to see Jurassic World Rebirth, so we'd gone along to see that. I cannot recall if you rushed along to see it, Tyler.
I have not
Forgive me.
yet.
Okay. Don't, because it's not good. Although I say this as like the one person who quite liked Jurassic World Dominion more than anyone else. But Jurassic World Rebirth. So if you didn't know it was directed by Gareth Edwards, by the time we got to the end of the film, before the credits come up, you'd be looking about saying, was that directed by Gareth Edwards? He's got stuff in there that is very similar to the Mutos and the settings from Godzilla. He's got like moments and kind of set dressing that feels very similar to Monsters at times, and it just feels very Edwards. Although thankfully he has moved on a little bit from that trick he overdid in Godzilla of getting close to a moment of action and then cutting away to something else for a while. So he does have his vision harnessed more to the Jurassic World mode. Scarlett Johansson's okay, as is the guy who was in Wicked, and I've forgotten his name already.
Jonathan something.
Thank you, Bailey. That's it, Jonathan Bailey. But the God, I've got to forget his name as well. Mahershala Ali?
Ali, yeah.
Yeah. Who was at one point for a decade going to be in X-Blade, and somehow I still hope for that to happen one day, but I doubt it will. Anyway, he's really good. He's quite a highlight in this. Not given the best to work with because none of the cast are, but he kind of shines in his main supporting role here. So that was good to see. It was good to see him in that kind of blockbuster and not being, just buried by the weak material. I can't recall if I've seen him in any other of the big franchises, but he's goodness. And then
I think I'd rather they scrap the Blade movie and just involve him in the whole Daredevil Punisher TV universe. And get Wesley Snipes back and just use him there. Personally.
But would he still be like a cohort of Blade, or you just get him to play someone else completely?
Oh no, he'd be Blade.
All right, he'd still be Blade. And it could be Blade Prime.
Yeah, exactly.
And Blade the Next Generation.
Wesley Snipes' Blade got subsumed by the Nothing in Deadpool 3. It's the one thing I remember about that movie.
Well, I can't remember what happened to him. I don't remember a lot about that movie. It was like listening to Ryan Reynolds speak for 2 hours.
Yeah, and that is torture in and of itself, but he got eaten by the Nothing. I just remembered it because, they did the Never-Ending Story route, but the Nothing was a small, bald English woman.
Spoilers for Deadpool 3, people. Next time Dave speaks, I'm just going to be like...
I really, really...
Oh, Dave, can't hear you.
I'm really regretting the soundboard option on this right now.
But speaking of Next Generation as well, we watched Karate Kid Legends.
Ooh.
Sorry. That's kidding. No, that is I don't know, it's kind of appropriate. I couldn't bring myself to hate it because it's working to a pretty well-known formula, but that has been in place since Karate Kid, since before Karate Kid, with sports movies, underdogs, rise up movies, and all that. It's not bad for some of the fights aren't too bad. It's interesting that there's a bit of role reversal at some points with the young lead, and I forget his name. I've heard people praise his performance. I wasn't really won over by him, although I didn't hate him. I liked his female co-star better. She was a better presence. Joshua Jackson is surprisingly decent in it for what he's meant to be doing. And then if you've seen the advert, you do get, some time with both Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. So they really retcon some twisting roots there. But yeah, some of the fights are good. It's standard stuff. The soundtrack is really annoying though. It is, and I'm sorry to potentially upset Tyler here, but you know how a lot of us were really annoyed by the changing of songs for each scene in Suicide Squad? Remember that? Even you'll remember that, T. I mean, it's just sometimes it was a barrage going from one tune to the next.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, Karate Kid Legends is like that. But also, I would say probably none of the songs are as good as any of the Suicide Squad choices. So, yeah, you don't get to listen to them and think, well, there'll be an occasional banger. There are not. This is a banger-free zone.
Have we reached a time and place where it's like, yay, Ralph Macchio? Fuck you, Jackie Chan.
No, I mean, we'll never reach the place where anyone says, yay, Ralph Macchio.
But we are saying, fuck you, Jackie Chan, and that is
because Jackie Chan's
brutal.
a piece of shit. Jackie Chan's a piece of shit human being, and he always has been. I enjoy Jackie Chan stuff, but I've been saying fuck you, Jackie Chan, since the 90s.
This makes me sad.
I mean, I've heard other people really just dismiss and slag off Ride On, that one where he's an aging actor with his horse, and I really like that one. I know it's odd considering the the baggage it sort of lets them pretend to deal with on the screen. But it was good. I had a fun.
Oh God, I
summer.
hate that one. Not because of the movie. The movie was mediocre as fuck, but because they take that one scene and folks are like, look at this, and it's like that's a fucking movie, you assholes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I get it. Last but not least, Dave and I kind of had a cinema date, but we were just in different countries at different times. But we saw the same film, didn't we, Dave?
We did.
We
did.
saw Superman. Oh, I watched Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, which is really moving and wonderful. It reminds us that Reeve was so good, and I think we're lucky to have him as a generational Superman. But Superman, 2025 Superman, directed and written by James Gunn, is I think it's my favorite Superman film. I think Reeve is still my favorite Superman. I don't take anything away from Cavill, who I liked. Certainly the physicality he had in the role, but was never best served by the films he was given. This Superman is brilliant. I thought, like, all of the main cast feel right for the roles, all of them. I think in pretty much every other film version of Superman, you're happy to get a few of them right. This gets all of them, and yeah, I liked it. I don't know where Tyler would end up landing on it. I think he'd probably still dislike it, but I don't know. Crypto, the dog, might win him over. But I think it has an earnestness and a sweet center to it that actually works really well in terms of still getting to put the character a bit through the ringer. I like the fact that it didn't really have to give us another big origin, half hour or hour, just basically lands you in it, and like it's all on point for it. I honestly came away from this thinking that that is the Superman we need today, in terms of cinema, in terms of pop culture, and how that character is positioned. There are times when you might want different versions of the character to be shown, but I came away with a goofy smile on my face. I had gone misty-eyed on a few occasions, and I was just like, yes, that is... I didn't know that's how I wanted it to be, but by the time I left, I was like, that's kind of what I needed it to be for me to get as much enjoyment out of it. There wasn't any kind of cynicism to him. There wasn't any... there wasn't too much snark either, and there was some humor. It's not a pole-faced film, but it felt different from the, oh, let's have a fight, and then once we've punched this robot through a building, let's deliver a line to someone else to undercut the massive fight, sort of thing. It's just, yeah, it was sweet, earnest, quite funny. Nicholas Hoult kills it as Lex Luthor and all, but Rachel Brosnahan is a fantastic Lois Lane, and Corin Sweat is just... he was really good as Superman and Clark Kent, although I think we'll have to wait and see how much more he can do when it's a bit more mixed up for him in future outings. And that was me.
I also went to the theater. I didn't see Superman because, I mean, the thought of James Gunn making another DC movie makes me kind of want to vomit because of Suicide Squad. But I'm going to save my thoughts for Superman because I will watch it eventually because I know me. And Crypto looks adorable, so we'll see. But I did go to the theater and I saw the new I Know What You Did Last Summer, which those who follow me on Instagram knows I've been counting this shit down for a long time now. I've been spamming you all with hook killers like fucking crazy. I fucking loved it. It was like a fan service hook just pushed straight into my goddamn heart. Just loved everything about this movie. Loved the new cast. Was so happy to see Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. again. I love both of them in this movie, and I really like what they did with their characters here. I may have cried a little bit when I saw that Slicker and the Hook back on the big screen again. I just a little bit. The I know you did last summer, and I still know what you did last summer. Were our two big reasons why I became a horror fan when I was a kid. That and Scream. I mean, those three movies were just huge parts of my childhood. So just seeing this in the theater again just made me super happy. I love the final act. I can't say anything about it because it's just one big giant spoiler, but I fucking love the ending. I'm discussing it on the Watch Skip podcast this week. So yeah, stay tuned for more gushing, guys. It's coming, and coming spelled Cumming. So besides that, just more TV. I started watching another new series. I started Snowfall, which I can't believe I haven't seen because it's fucking awesome. I don't know if you guys have watched Snowfall before, but if you haven't,
No, I heard good things though.
it's really, really good. Really, really good. The lead kid is amazing. It's really good so far. I'm like 10 episodes in and I'm fucking loving it. So definitely check out Snowfall if you haven't seen it. And that is me.
Just to put it on record, Tyler, I give it 5-10 minutes into your discussion on Watch Skip Plus until Jose goes on about Freddie Prinze Jr. still being a snack, or he's fancied him for years. And with Mario, I'm telling you now. So when it comes up, just be like, yeah, Kevin Sagewood.
I just watched your episode with Sinners, Kevin. Which was it Sinners? Was it Sinners or no Thunderbolts? Sorry, I was supposed to be on Sinners, but I didn't make it. But I watched your Thunderbolts episode. That was a good one.
I forgot they just put the pictures over the audio. They don't do the video, do they?
No, they do the video.
Yeah, they do video.
Oh God. Oh,
Kevin was naked for the entire recording.
That's why they said
session.
Kevin put on his shirt first.
I'm gonna have to
sitting there.
Now I gotta wear
scratching
clothes.
my ass.
I gotta wear fucking clothes when I do this podcast now.
Jesus, guys.
Yeah, I enjoyed the chatting Thunderbolts with nice one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I watched a couple of found footage films. I watched a new one, visited a favourite. A new one was called Found Footage for Making of the Patterson Project. I'd seen a couple of reviews and they were really positive, and so I checked out the trailer and I really liked that. So I was really, I had high hopes for it, and it was just okay, to be honest. The first half is a really fun little kind of American movie meets Bowfinger kind of comedy about, making a like a city horror film on a shoestring budget. It's good fun, and it's got a really good subplot about an elderly investor who puts money into the film as long as she gets to meet the lead actor at some point. The lead actor being God damn, what's his name? Alan Rickman, and this is 2025. So they've been bullshitting her, and then they have to audition Alan Rickman's to come and fool her, and all of that stuff's really good fun. And then the second half, it moves into more into the horror side of things, and it just doesn't do it very well. It's annoying because it's set up to be just a really good, fun, like Evil Dead style horror, and they do push that side of it, but they don't do it very well. It's not scary. It's not gory enough. It really doesn't work, especially when it moves into a little bit of like folk horror at the end and a silly little kind of coda, and it's a shame. It works first half as a comedy, not so much as a horror film in the second half, but. If it pops up, if you see it on Netflix or Prime for free, Don't have to pay for it. If it's just on there, I would recommend just throwing it on. It's good fun, and the cast is great. You know, they do a really good job. So give it a go. It's worth it. It's just I paid about $5 to rent it because I'd been waiting for it, and I wouldn't do the same. And then the second one, I'm gonna get some disagreement here, but I like this found footage film. I rewatched M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit, which I maintain is one of Shyamalan's best films, which no one ever agrees with me on. I really like the cast, the young cast and the older cast. It's funny, it's creepy, it's tense and intense. Like the last 10 minutes gets into some pretty intense territory, and I just think it's all of the things that bug me about Shyamalan aren't really here. I mean, there's a twist, but it's a twist that works in service of the story, and he just he doesn't fuck about like he likes to with this one. It's just very straightforward, gets the fuck on with it, and it's a really fun found footage film. I wish to God someone could just keep Shyamalan on the straight and narrow and not let him go loopy like he does. Because Trap could have been so good, had a great lead, could have been so much fun, great concept, but God, he cannot help himself. Does anyone else like The Visit?
I do.
Or is it just me? Yay, me and Tyler.
I really like the kid, the rapping kid makes me laugh every time. I think he's hysterical. But yeah, it's just I really like The Visit. That might be like the last M. Night movie I actually really liked.
Oh yeah, same. People really hate the rapping kid. They're like, that kid is annoying and I wish he would die. And first up, yes, he's a kid, so he is annoying. You were annoying when you were a kid, shut the fuck up. But also, I just can't get on board with the way people watch films sometimes. Like, I wanted that child to die. I'm like, you wanted the child to die? That's not how you watch movies. Even annoying children to live. I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah, I like The Visit. And then, I watched a bunch of TV as well. I finished The Handmaid's Tale, last 3 episodes of the final season. I kind of got everything I wanted from the ending, but it was very, mechanical, moving the pieces across the board, getting everything where it needed to be. So it was satisfying, but, it was done with so little grace. But in the end, and what I really liked about it was, I like Elizabeth Moss as an actress, but she comes across as quite a. What bothered me about Elizabeth Moss in this program is the way that the camera was constantly trained on her face, and just asking her to do silent acting for a minute, and they were doing it way too much. Every season was endless fucking close-ups of this woman's face acting, and it kind of forced her to overact because because the camera was on her face all the time. And by the time this show concluded, there were at least 3 female performances that were much, much stronger than hers, and they all killed it in the last season. So yeah, that was a decent conclusion. I watched season 3 of Yellow Jackets. There are highs, there are lows. It's about the same as the other 2 seasons. It's just Kevin 7 for me, but it has its moments. Now that they've decided that, God damn it, who's the lead? The Kiwi,
Melanie Linsky.
Melanie Linsky. Now they've decided, right, Melanie Linsky is our villain. She is terrible. Now they've let her just be the villain. She's a lot of fun, and there are just little moments where it just fucking sings. There's a moment involving Joel McHale and a bunch of horny frogs, which is one of the best reveals I've seen on a TV show in years. So, it's I'm still in basically, but they need to stop just killing off so many characters. They really don't have that many to begin with, and they were real trigger happy this season. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it for me this week.
I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen some really weird stuff. I'll start with the good first. I watched Superman. As Kevin said, I really enjoyed Superman. It was better than all the shit I had to endure under the reigns of Nolan and Snyder, and I know one of those was an edgy thing to say, but I do not care for Nolan's Batman movies. I said it. I I I don't, I'm sorry if you disagree. I know a lot of people loved him. I guess Dark Knight was okay, but I didn't care for the other two, and I hated all of Snyder's movies. I hated them with a burning
I
passion.
I only go back to Nolan's films for the villains. I
Yeah,
go
I
back
mean,
in because I want to watch Heath Ledger again, or because I want to watch Tom Hardy again, and that's because of the only reason I go back.
Hardy's performance is just so like take the fucking mask off so I know what the fuck you're saying.
I just like it. It's just odd. It's
It is
very
odd, and
unexpected.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But yeah, it's Ledger and I see his face. I'm brain farting on his name.
Cillian Murphy.
No, well, Cillian Murphy, but Aaron Eckhart carry the shit out of Dark Knight. They're both really good, and that's why I go back to it. That's got some good stuff, but I didn't care for the other two, and yeah, that's okay. It's
And Michael J.
still,
White. Just for 5 minutes, but
for like
love
30
that man.
seconds, yeah. But I hated all the Cavill Superman movies. They didn't feel right to me, and it's something against Cavill. I think he could have been a good Superman. It's just that Zack Snyder is one of the least entertaining filmmakers I can think of. Sorry, Tyler. He just bores me. And those movies were all fucking endless. I did like his Justice League more than Whedon's, but that is not saying much. But I had a blast with Superman. I can't wait to see them go back to it. I am hyped for Supergirl. Anything that gives me more crypto is a plus in my book. Because they're really rating some of the best stuff for these characters over the last. I don't think they've gone out of the 2000s, because I know this took heavily from All-Star Superman, and Supergirl's going to take heavily from. I cannot remember the People's Run, but it is an excellent run, and you should look it up and read it because it is a really good.
The Women of Tomorrow.
Yes, it is Woman of Tomorrow. I just cannot, for the life of me, remember who wrote and illustrated it.
God damn it.
Yeah, usually I know these things. So that's a good one. You should go check it out. I watched. Okay, this is gonna be a weird choice if you don't know us here or myself. I watched Enter the Dragon, a Canadian action comedy about an amateur detective drag queen who goes against gangsters, zombies, and other bad guys. It co-stars Greg Sestero and Lloyd Kaufman, and Natalia Marino, who I absolutely adored in the film. She was a very fun, bright spot. I enjoyed the crap out of it. It was just fun. It was camp. It was everything it did everything I expected it to do, but it was absolutely wonderful. It's ridiculously over the top, and it goes after the target you expect, and it does it fine. It was a blast. I had a lot of fun with it. I don't think it stuck the landing. I think they could have done they shift a character a few times. I don't want to spoil anything. And I think they could have done them in a different order or given two of them more time and one of them less, but that's just me. It's a lot of fun. It is worth checking out. I saw Spermageddon, the 2024 Norwegian adult animated sex musical. I never thought I would watch a movie where I rooted for two teenagers having sex, but here we are. I'm not gonna say it's a good movie. I think half of it is fun. It's divided into two narratives that are going simultaneously. In one, it's romance between two awkward teens, which I didn't fucking care about. John and Lisa, I think. They're fine. They're there. They're not really interesting. Their stuff is not. It's whatever. But where it really is good is when they are with Simeon the sperm, his friend Camilla, and their antagonist Gizmo, as they race to the egg. And it's awful and kind of wonderful. I mean, like I could pick it apart. I could pick it apart with how they hypersexualize the only not white character. I could pick it apart with how some of the jokes and factoids they throw out just are not good. But it's got enough sperm puns to make Kevin happy. And that was literally all I was rating it on. And I adored the ending. The ending cracked me up so bad. It was dark and wonderful, and I loved it. Not the movie overall, but if the movie, like, if you're sitting around and you're like, hey, let's watch Sausage Party again, watch Spermageddon instead. It's the better movie. I watched the 1985 Nico Mastrokis film Sky High, which I did not enjoy at all. I love campy B movies, but they need to have a sense of fun, and this didn't. This was just following three of the worst white American college kids in Europe being the worst American college kids in Europe with a kind of goofy spy plot. It's it's not. You can do better. Do better. Pick a different movie. If you're sitting down for your bad movie night, it's this and something else. Pick the other thing. Pick the other thing. I saw because I told us I was going to, and I did. I watched Vice Academy Part 2, and they did increase one of the two things between comedy and bosoms, and it was the bosoms, but the comedy was still terrible, and there still weren't enough bosoms. So there we are. I'm done that nostalgia trip down memory lane. I still adore Linnea Quigley, but and Ginger Lynn. I've never seen her main body of work, but I've enjoyed her in other stuff. But this was just not good. They're better than that. And to cap it all off, I was forced to repeatedly watch the 2025 American vampire musical Zombies 4: Dawn of the Vampires. I didn't hate it. I know it sounds like I'm asking, and I kind of am. The thing is, I like the core cast of this series. They're adorable. They work well together. The songs kind of suck terribly after the first one. The director doesn't get any better, and the screenplays have diminishing returns. But they actually did something new. They took a step forward with it, which, yay. But then they introduced the new replacement kids because, well, our main cast are approaching their 30s quickly. So they replace them with two teenagers who are just they like, I don't want to talk bad about two young performers. They can get better. There's time, there's a chance, but these two at this stage, like, it should have been a crime to put them in front of a camera and make them sing and dance that badly and then auto tune them beyond repair. And then they put them out on tour. So don't do that. Like yourself and your children more than that. Don't do that. It was not good. It wasn't terrible, but it was not good. It's a shame because they seem to have had a lot more money for this one than they did the last three combined. But there it is. I know 5's coming at some point. I hope they actually hire a fucking songwriter this time, or 2, or 6. Because the songs on this were atrocious. But it was written by Tyler. Might be the only other person that remembers the show. Do you remember an animated sitcom on MTV called Undergrads?
I do.
Yeah, the guy who wrote that wrote Zombies 4.
Oh, nice. I didn't even know I didn't know anybody from that thing was still working. The writers.
He also wrote the Kim Possible movie in, like, what was that? 2020, 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's been around. Hasn't done anything worth discussing, but he's been around. This week, we watched I don't know how to describe this one, 1975 fever dream family adventure musical, the Rare Blue Apes of Cannibal Island, also known as Pirates of Cannibal Island, and the 2011 American drama Little Birds, written and directed by Elgin James. Hey, Craig?
Are you sure it's me picking? Because one of the films is mine.
Oh shit, you're right. You weren't here and I got thrown off. I was so happy you
No
were here.
worries. Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
Would you like to pick a movie and tell us about it?
Sure will, Dave. I will rush to describe the Rare Blue Apes of Cannibal Isle from the mid-1970s, from the mind of Don Greer, helped by Peter Scriven, who is listed as a puppeteer as well. This is all about a boy who runs away from home with Mr. Quack Quack, who is his friendly duck. And he ends up in this island area where he finds they say they're blue apes, they're blue bloods. He finds one trapped and helps it escape from the evil Swampies, which are essentially people in big crocodile mascot outfits, I think. And yeah, the Swampies pursue them. They go through some different areas, and the aim is to reach some kind of happily ever after. This is Malaysian, and all of the voices are all of the voices dubbed? I can't recall. Like the young child actor actually seems
they're all dubbed by Victorian orphans.
It doesn't matter a lot of the time because they are most of the other characters on screen have oversized puppet heads. So when this started, I think I messaged you guys immediately and was like, right, this kid is friends with a duck called Mr. Quack Quack. Is there any way we can give a choice instead to any other Craig who can join us for a conversation next week? Say what is going on. I gotta tell you, Craig, plot twist. I ended up kind of digging this.
Yeah.
This was wild. I know there's something about it, like, of course it's very odd. The Vinegar Syndrome put this out because was it like a lost film for quite a while?
Yeah, it's not the best. I don't think it was a good enough quality. The elements weren't there to do a great quality release, so they just chucked it in a nice 10-pack with 9 other bizarre films.
Right, which we will be made to
watch
over. It's a very, it's like a really childish fantasy style script, but then some of the exposition that's dumped out by the blue blood near the start is okay. I'm like, right, there's actually a little bit of thought put in it just to set things in motion.
Lore.
Yeah, and then you get a couple of like quite horrible songs, but I'm not going to pretend they didn't work their way into my ear and have me sort of worn down by the end, thinking, oh, they're not too bad. So you had that as well. Visually, it's quite like flat and ugly, but every scene generally has the environment interrupted by these characters who, like, it's a decent odd design for the characters as well. And I kind of just admired the commitment of these performers. So particularly there's a scene in which the Swampies are pursuing our two heroes, if you will, and they're climbing down towards this riverbank in a way that just can't have been easy or fun. And then they fall in the river as intended, and they're going along the riverbank, still trying to push the leads. I'm like, at that point, that costume is probably just like at least an extra 20 kilos, just with water filling up everywhere. And I mean,
those guys definitely drowned.
Yeah, I would
those
have been
guys did not
surprised
make it
to,
out.
like,
Worth
to
it.
find
Totally
that
worth it.
this wasn't released because so many people died. It's just like these oversized costumes floating down the river, and that's it. But it was, yeah, I don't think it's absolutely in line with what we say we really like when it's a let's put a show on kind of style film. But in a way, it also is. But with that, it kind of feels different because that intention is there to keep it as a very childish, like fantasy quest style thing, and it kind of works. Like it's not the best of its type, and it's not one you would rush to recommend to people who have only ever seen, say, Labyrinth and the Never Ending Story. But it's not one that I would warn people away from either. Like I would tell them it's odd. It looks odd and it's strange, and there's obviously no real budget beyond the money it went into the massive heads that people have to wear. But the lack of any logic works because it is that, yeah, it's kind of like I could say that, but works because it's a film aimed at kids. Because I know I've said that as a complaint before about movies we've watched and gone on about the plotting being, as if moments are just snatched from some child's mind or blurted out. But in this case, it works. And then there are things that come together in ways that you get to the third act and you're like, oh, they kind of have followed the plot. You didn't think they were keeping track of anything, and then they have. And then you get a moment where it just looks like another really dangerous sequence with folk in oversized heads they can't quite see out of putting weapons into catapults and then setting fire to things and firing cannonballs at people, basically catapulting them out to the water. And I just I admire the bravery / stupidity of putting all this together. And yeah, I ended up I had a good time with it. It helped that it's what was it, about 80 minutes? I think maybe even just under or just over, I can't recall. That helps. There are still, it's not perfectly paced. There are still lulls, but surprisingly, not as many lulls as I expected. Like we've seen films of this caliber at this budget level that just have stretches of 5-10 minutes here and there of people going round in circles and just really killing time while we try and stay awake. This, to me, at least felt as if characters were always moving in a specific direction and being pursued in that same direction, rather than I know they do sort of wander and they're getting to different areas, but it still didn't feel like they were just going around in circles. It felt like everything actually ended up having a purpose. It was just such a strange setup an initial premise, but then when it continues to work within that, like within the parameters it's set for itself, I think it does the job surprisingly well. And I never thought I was going to say these good things about it when I started watching it.
This was an absolute travesty, and I'm greatly upset I had to watch it. What really upsets me is I now know where my money goes when I buy a Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that anymore. So, yeah. But this review won't be completely 100% negative. I may have hated every single second this was on my TV, and to be honest, when they started singing at the dinner table, I wanted to shove plastic sporks from KFC in my ears. But that's not to say I can't praise the complete lunacy this movie is. And the thought of it existing is both upsetting and kind of inspiring because, yes, it's a weird ass kids movie, and it's kind of weird that this movie even exists as a children's movie. I mean, showing this to your kids should be filed under some sort of child abuse. Like there should be a case that if you show this to your kids, you can get like arrested for child abuse. There's just no excuse. I actually stopped midway through for various reasons, but one was to see what else the director made, and he did make 2 porn flicks prior to this, which is that. I mean, that's kind of amazing. I haven't seen either of those just yet, but I'm going to say both are better than this, just by default.
Mr. Quack Quack's in those as well.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'll never get an erection again. Sorry, Craig.
Dude, he made more than 2 porn flicks.
Did he? Letterboxd had 2 blurred out, so I just thought that was the 2 pornos, but there could be
No,
more.
he did like I want to say like a dozen.
Damn.
Yeah.
How do you go from porn to this? But I mean, I guess it's not that weird.
How didn't he go from porn to this?
Sorry, Craig. I'm about to say bad things about a child because I wish this was actually about cannibals. So I can see that fucking awful kid eaten alive in agonizing pain, Ruggero Deodato style. Because, yeah, he's fucking awful. The sets are ugly. The costumes are ugly. Everything is just ugly as fuck. It looks like the New Zoo review, but somehow fucking worse. And nobody should have to remember the New Zoo review. That show is just nightmare fuel. I hated this, and it scared my dog. So thanks, Craig.
Oh no, I never wanted that. That's not something that I wanted.
Yes. So
Sorry,
Don
Chloe.
Greer did multiple porns, and they're all parodies. So, just so you know. And before that, he did softcore exploitation. Dude has been I only I only know this because the director is still alive. He's 101, I believe. And he's from my area, so like when he got really old, they started bringing him out on all the local news programs like, "Hey, John, you had a career in Hollywood." And he's like, "Yeah, I made fuck flicks." And it's like, aha. Yay. I think he might have made one in between, but he did a porn parody of The Godfather called okay, this is from memory, so give me a second. Thing is called The Goddaughter, and after the Godfather is killed, the child they bring in to take over is a nun and a lesbian, and it's like a perfect Tyler movie. I haven't seen it. I know the description, so it sounds like something up your alley, T.
I mean, I'd be down to watch it.
Yeah, I figure you would. Anyway, I kind of really liked the Rare Blue Apes of Cannibal Island. Like, I would like to take a minute and I think we should all have a moment of silence to thank whatever you think is good and right in the universe for Jim Henson, who came along, after Don Greer and improved children's entertainment. But for where this sits in its place, I kind of love it. They gave a little bit of effort into the masks. I adore the monkeys and the crocodiles. See, T is too young to remember the days when this is what everything looked like. You went into Chuck E. Cheese in the 80s, and this is what they all looked like. You went to Disneyland, and this is what they all fucking looked like. You went to the local Six Flags, yo, everything looked like these fucking blue apes and crocodiles. Well, this wasn't nightmare fuel. This is what kids liked because it all looked like shit. Again, until Jim Henson came along. Thank you, Jim Henson, for saving us in the 90s. And then, Steven Spielberg ruined that with Jurassic Park and making sure CG took over for everything. But I digress. Yeah, it's not great. Don't get me wrong. The songs are terrible. The film kind of repeats itself a little bit too much. But if you want like a psychotronic kiddie matinee movie because you're sitting around high as fuck with your buddies, there's so much worse you could put on. It's a blast. I would, if Tyler wants to come over and drop acid, we can watch the Rare Blue Apes together. Me and you, I'll explain it to you why it's wonderful. While tripping balls.
I'll drop acid with you, but do we have to watch this?
No, we can watch something else. We can watch
Zombies
whatever
4?
you want.
Zombies
we can
4?
totally watch Zombies 4. Yeah, fuck yeah.
All right.
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It is what it is. It's a weird little Indonesian last hurrah by a man who made weird little porn films. Like, this isn't even his most weird psychodrama. So, I don't know what to say about it. It's a thing that exists. I'm glad I saw it. I am glad I saw it. I probably won't ever watch it again. Except if, Killa finds it on my hard drive and goes, "What the fuck is this?" Then I'll definitely be like, "Oh, we're watching some fucking Blue Apes." Fuck yeah. But I think that's unlikely.
Okay. Yeah, I've changed my kind of philosophy with my picks this year. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I know it's kind of grandiose to call it my philosophy, but I'm like, before I was definitely going for like the cheap, kind of justifiably forgotten shit made by porno directors. And you're gonna end up with those same films, but I'm choosing them for different reasons. I really what I wanted to do this year, like that Marcel. I'm going for, I want you to start my picks and say, what is this and who the hell is it for? And when my pick's finished, I want you to be like none the wiser. I want you to be just as like confused as to why it was made. And I think in that respect, Rare Blue Apes was a success. I think I got what I want. It's not exactly what I wanted. I think it could be weirder. I expected it to be weirder. I think it could have had a bit more accidental nightmare fuel. But yeah, I enjoyed it going on throughout. That it kept me engaged. And I Kevin's right about the songs. The songs are bad. They were stuck in my head for hours. That you, me, and the papa. That song has been in my head since yesterday when I watched the film. It is a brutal little.
Oh fuck! I just gotten it out. Now it's back.
It's back. It's back, and it's staying.
You. Yes.
I kind of like the songs. I kind of. They're crappy, but I enjoy them. I like the dubbing because, like I said, every story an orphan. It was very strange. There was plenty going on to keep me entertained, but basically, the reason I was fully invested in this film, like 10 minutes in, was Mr. Quack Quack. I have never had a film rest entirely on the shoulders, if it even has shoulders, because I'm not sure if they have shoulders. But it's resting on the shoulders of one duck who clearly did not want to be there and was probably quite badly traumatized by filming this. But I fucking loved Mr. Quack Quack when he started. Yes, And when I thought he'd sacrifice his life to save the child, I thought, no, let that child die and run free, Mr. Quack Quack. I was like way too into Mr. Quack Quack. So like, I need to see a prequel. I need to know what the fuck that little duck was up to, that they had decided to excommunicate him from the island. Like they were going to have people like force him off the island like on a prison vessel. Like what the fuck was this duck up to? I don't know. But yeah, I just loved Mr. Quack Quack. The worst part of this film for me is the third act because it's almost completely bereft of Mr. Quack Quack, which is insulting. But yeah, I just liked it. And it was moments that just I feel like I was approaching a lull. Like there's one of the enemy apes, Bobo, and he's with another one of the apes. Not the apes. He's a swampy. Swampy called Bobo and his partner like up against a tree, and they say, "Guy, come on, Bobo, wake. You got to stay awake. You're on guard." Bobo's like, "Yeah, of course I will." Falls asleep, and dreams this like bizarre, sad song about how he's a swampy, but actually okay, and can you please be his friend? And it was just so weird and sad, and it never returns to Bobo at that level. It never really that little branch of the film doesn't really go anywhere. It's just yeah, it's just it was as strange as I wanted. It wasn't as strange as I wanted to be. It wasn't as terrifying as I hoped it would be, but it was weird enough. And Mr. Quack Quack is iconic as far as I'm concerned. Fucking love that duck.
For the record, ducks do have shoulders.
Oh, there you go.
Their shoulder structure includes the scapula, the shoulder blade, a coracoid, and a humerus, upper arm bone, similar to humans.
I love that when I said I don't know if ducks have shoulders, you were like straight on figuring that shit out for us.
I needed to know. Now I do.
So thank you. See, I can't believe that you guys, apart from Tyler, had something like vaguely positive to say. You can't take it back, Tyler. You did. So yay.
I guess I'll do little birds. Okay, 2011 American film written and directed by Elgin James, who is probably best known as a former member of the Friends Stand United anti-fascist, anti-racist, anti-hardcore drug crew in the late 80s. I know T knows who I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure Craig does too. And Kevin is just, being Kevin. Anyway, it is a what?
He was also in the Mayans.
He co-created the Mayans.
Yep, I think he also had like a star, like not a starring role, but he was in the Mayans, just like a back character, a side character.
Oh, was he? Because he's a co-creator of Mayans MC, and he wrote the film Lowriders. I know I'd think of it.
That's a good one.
Anyway, it is about Lily and Alison, best friends in poverty-stricken Salton Sea, and they're complete opposites. Lily is suicidal and bland, who lives with her mother Margaret, and Alison is whiny and bland, who lives with her alcoholic dad. Alison finds solace with her Uncle Hogan's horses, while Lily just ignores everything as much as possible. Together, they eventually meet some skateboarding boys, because it's a Tyler pick, steal Uncle Hogan's truck, and run off to LA for a jaunty good time. I mean, maybe jaunty good time isn't the right phrase that others would use, but again, it's a Tyler pick, so I think they would. I didn't dislike Little Birds, but it is very much a mixed bag. Some parts of it are excellent. I think it's incredibly well made by James. There's some absolutely gorgeous shots. I mean, just absolutely beautiful shots. It's decently edited. The performances are solid. Um, the director was arrested after its premiere screening at the Sundance Film Festival, which, that's always a plus in my book. I just think, where it kind of falls apart is in the fact that there's not much else going on. It's not a narrative worth bothering with. It's too similar to too many other films we've seen about poor white kids. It doesn't feel authentic. Lily sees the worst therapist in history, but there's nothing to her except the flatness on the page, and there should be. This should be a very compelling character with depth, but it's not. I appreciate that James wanted to make a film about people outside of his experience, but I don't feel that he sees them ever as being real people. They are one note personality traits that they ride throughout, and there's no change, there's no growth, there's no development. Their time with the boys in LA is just mostly dull filler that I've seen a billion times, and it's a shame because there's a lot of good going on here. There's a whole lot of good. While Leslie Mann and Kate Bosworth and Neil McDonough might be completely and totally wasted. Same with crap. The guy that played the dad is David Warshofsky, who has been like one of those, oh hey, look, it's that guy actors, especially in TV over the years. It just it misses the mark. Like it could have been something really good, but it just does not land for me. Maybe I've seen too many movies just like this. But the cast does, they give it a try. Kyle Gallner's always a solid presence in things. Juno Temple is fine. Kay Panabaker does as well as anybody could with her role. They're just not given much to do. And nothing goes outside of the expected. Every moment I predict in my notes before it happens. The only time I actually got excited is Big Star plays on the soundtrack in like 2 spots. And that's it. It's just like they just make Alison a naggy movie moral, and they make Lily just her trauma's not grounded, it's not centralized, it's just generic traumatized child B. Eh, eh, I've seen this movie. I've seen this movie a dozen or 8 times. It's well made, and I want to like it more than I do because ultimately it doesn't go anywhere and it doesn't do anything, and it's a shame. It's a real missed opportunity.
Um, yeah, pretty much the same, really. Like, I don't know that my critique is all that specific to this film. It's just I've seen this film 1,000 times. You know, it's the I even if they don't, even if these films don't contain all the same elements, it just feels like filmmakers taking words like skateboard, teen angst, just putting them in that bag that you mix Scrabble tiles with. They shake it, and just that's where they get the ideas for the film. It's just I just seen it a lot, like to the point where like our expertise is on these films must be like forensic at this point. Like you could make an episode of CSI with someone who gets murdered with VHS copies of this film, and there'd be a lab at the very back, and it would have us in it. People would ask us like our forensic expertise on this genre. We've just watched them so much, and like I've missed a couple of 100 episodes, so that's got to be like I must have missed at least 30 of these. So Kevin and Dave must feel like they've got the gift. Like when Juno Temple starts walking on the train track, I knew that was going to happen. When her friend says, what's so great about LA, and it's not here, you must think you've developed psychic powers because you knew that line was coming. It's just made them. It's made them very predictable. Like we're just very, very familiar with this subgenre. So when we see a new one, it really stand out, and Little Birds just didn't stand out for me. Like it's fine on its own merits. Like I like Juno Temple, I liked Kay Panabaker, I like Leslie Mann. I think better actress she gives credit for. I love Neil McDonough. I like J.R. Bourne was really creepy in the third act. He was really good. Carl Gallner I always enjoy. Chris Coy, it looks about 20 years older than the rest of the kids he's hanging out with, even though he's probably the same age. Got a real kind of hello fellow kids look about him, but he's still quite good. And it's really nicely shot, like Dave said, it's nicely shot. I get the feeling they must have like shot 15 minutes of film every day just to get the sun like just so for each scene. Like there's some good craftsmanship, there's some good performances, but the story just isn't there. Like when I say there's an over familiarity with this type of film, it's not so much that you pick them, Tyler. It's that they exist. It's that they're out there. Like it's become a really coming of age films have become quite a lazy kind of debut of choice for people who just want to get their film into a festival, get notices for the cinematography and the cast, and it's like a stepping stone. It's like when these films are done right, they should feel vital and urgent, but more often than not, it's just like I say, it's directorial training wheels. They're aiming for kind of mediocrity at the start. I feel like there's a world of difference between I have to tell this story, I have to make this film, and just I have to make a film. And like I feel the second one in my guts with this. This just feels like a filmmaker making a directorial stepping stone, which is fine for him and his career and what he wants to do, but it's not fun to watch. It's not interesting to watch. It's just another coming of age film, but it's not coming from someone who has that voice. So it just doesn't hit for me. But like I say, I like the cast, and yeah, it's really nice shot. But I didn't get a lot out of it personally.
Can you imagine this cast and cinematographer remaking Rare Blue Apes? Baker's the
No.
boy. Juno Temple is Mr. Quack Quack, and Kyle Gallner is Rum Tum. Fucking brilliant.
Don't hurt Tyler anymore. he's been hurt already. I realise with this film, Tyler, it's not that you like to pick these films, you like us to watch them. It's not that at all. You like what you like, and I to each one with an open mind. I think that the coming of age genre has become a really lazy and cynical stepping stone for directors, because they can get a couple of good performances, a couple of good performers, they can get a good cinematographer, and it's just a calling card, and that's fine if you want to make that for your career, but it's not an interesting thing to watch.
Tyler, I think I think Tyler started this week feeling so confident, being like, well, it's my usual Tyler choice, but it's against those blue apes. So
It's true. It's fucking true.
It's an easy stroll to the victory line. And then he's hearing us having praised Blue Apes, then once again shit on one of his choices, and he must be like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, what? Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, Tia, I wasn't a big fan of this one. It wasn't terrible. I'm a big fan of Juno Temple in most things that she does. She tends to be, at the very least, interesting and watchable. And she picks a wide variety of projects. So I liked her in this, but I liked her in this because it's Juno Temple, not because of her character, who I thought was just. Again, she's never. I don't think she's given as much depth as her character needed to do that. Like, I think you get more with Kay Panabaker's character, and with her kind of being reluctantly taken on this journey and constantly wondering whether she can push herself a bit further or whether she's right to pull back from the people they meet and the situations that they get in. I think that was more interesting than someone who just keeps going headlong into different situations without any care or consideration, and never, has. To me, didn't feel like they had any complexity or any complications that were explored well enough. So it is just a real, like, superficial. That's it. It's a teen road trip movie with some problems on the way and skateboarders. And yeah, let's use the internet to try and set up a scam. That was it. Cal Golner is another highlight again because I like him. I don't think any of the sort of older stars got much to do. It's a real shame. There was one moment that I enjoyed Leslie Manning, and I was hoping she would be in the film a bit more. She's not. She's out for about that one scene. Kate Bosworth, I could do with her being in pretty much every movie less, and unfortunately, she had a scene in this. I'm not a fan of Kate Bosworth. No, sorry. Neil McDonough is good. Again, not really much to do. I guess they had him for a couple of hours. Like, right now we'll film a scene when you're on the phone, and that will get our money's worth from you. It just, I didn't like it. Funnily enough, what Craig says is kind of right. Like, there's a lot of this that we could all just predict straight away. Particularly the ending, which is, it's yeah, it's an ending built around Chekhov's gloomy skateboarder, essentially, and I knew what was coming from. Well, I don't know how further back I knew what was coming, but I could see the general vibe, and then knew exactly what was happening while I was supposed to be waiting to find out what was happening. So it just didn't work for me that well. But there are a couple of decent performances in there, and it's not terrible. I just think, like I've said quite a lot, even from this particular subgenre, let's say, there are lots of better ones out there, even ones that you've picked for the show. I know you've now got to go on about how much you love this one, but I'm sorry again. But, I may be rewatching some of the Blue Apes while you're talking.
It's fine. Yeah, I do really like this one, and I like that it almost feels like two different films featuring the same characters. I mean, that second half involving skateboarders blackmailing and robbing perverts from Craigslist feels like it should be like a crazy tonal shift from the first half about a girl bored with her life trying to escape her town, but it really doesn't. It actually fits incredibly well. I've personally never blackmailed any perverts to buy new Vans shirts, but I'm not opposed to it, so who knows?
Or been blackmailed.
Or Ben Blackmail, sure. If it was Juno Temple, maybe.
You sounded so less convincing with that one.
That was not. Yeah, you did not sell that right, bud.
Yeah. I mean, if it was Juno Temple, sure. I mean, I'd have to think about it, but you know. And I do love new Vans shirts. So,
You
but yeah, I
love
think
new Van shirts enough that you'd steal
yeah,
for them.
maybe. Although it is kind of stupid to steal like credit card information and then go use it in a mall because they can track that shit, bro. People are just kids. Kids are dumb. But the cast is great. Juno Temple's character, yes, she is severely unlikable, sure, but I still find myself caring for her as a character. Kay Panabaker is really good. Kyle Gallner is excellent, but when is he not? I love him. Chris Coy is really fucking good in this. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Banshee, but he was the main neo-Nazi villain of the final season. Yeah, and he was really fucking good and super menacing in that show. Just that scene where he's like in his office building and just takes off his shirt and he's got all the swastikas. And yeah, he's menacing as fuck in that show, but he's really good in that, and he's a great actor. The cinematography is great. I mean, it's elegantly shot. It looks gorgeous. I love the pacing. I love the scene in the empty house with Gallner and Temple connecting while showing each other their scars. That was a really, really good, touching scene. I really like this.
That's the best scene, definitely.
Yeah, it was excellent. I mean, both of them were excellent together, and they had really good chemistry together too. I mean, they were just really good in this. There's a scene in the final act that just left me genuinely tense as fuck. I mean, something is gonna go wrong in that scene. I mean, it's not surprising when it actually does happen, but that scene just builds tension so fucking well. Just really, really good scene, really dark scene, and it fucking works with this film. But yeah, I really like this one. It's a really good little coming of age movie, and I enjoy it a lot.
One more thing to get off my chest. I'm sorry, Tyler. I really am sorry, Tyler.
That's all right.
I keep doing this. Like, it was really head slappingly, like, unsubtle at times. It kind of bugged me. Like Kay Panabaker. The fact that I noticed towards cartoon unicorn T-shirt, and it was just annoying that that's how they suggest that she's still so young and naive compared to her friend. It's like they were really hitting you over the head with. Just kind of bugged me.
All right, guys, it's time to pick one. I'm gonna let T go first this time.
Little Birds.
Kevin?
It's wild that I'm going for the Rare Blue Apes of Cannibal Isle.
Craig?
It's going to be those Blue Apes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, T. I'm sorry. It's
Tyler definitely likes me a little less after tonight.
Yeah, he's judging.
He does not convince. No, Tyler, I love. I'm sorry.
No, I hate Vinegar Syndrome for putting it out, but not you, Craig.
It's in a box set of 10. There's 9 more movies from that thing to fucking deal with, dude.
Oh, that's a shame.
Tyler just hates the fact that he was the only one standing guard against the sweep for the
Next week, we're gonna pay the piper his due for giving us our fantastic new theme. Linus has programmed a special for us. Craig, you have those titles, right?
I do. They are the 1978 British folk horror The Shout, the 1972 Jello, All the Colours of the Dark, The 1991 Japanese cyber film 964 Pinocchio, and the 1992 live adaptation Wicked City. A bunch of wild shit.
They are wild shit. We've covered 964 Pinocchio sequel, Rubber's Lover.
We did.
A couple of years ago. Yeah, we did. It's one I am fond of. That is a wild fucking lineup, man.
Yes. Excited.
But as he stands alone against love for the Rare Blue Apes, Tyler has something he really wants to tell you guys.
We're on the Instagram, Raiders_of_the_podcast. We're on Facebook, where I sometimes remember to post stuff on Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays, sometimes Friday. We have a YouTube channel where you can like, subscribe, and comment and watch Kevin's awesome videos weekly. We have a Discord. We have a Blue Sky. I have a new site that I just created called IHateTheBlueApes.com. And you can always email us at RaidersOfThePodcast@gmail.com.
As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Yep. See you next week.
I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah.
See ya.
I'm really sorry, T.
It's fine.